we have a timer? Right.
Okay.
We're back.
I love people that make me feel like I could do things that society tells me I can't do.
Exactly. Push the limit. That's what I call it.
Yeah, you know, like, and that's kind of what I want to do within this podcast is kind of one of those things. It's like, who am I? Like, even doing this right now, it's almost like, what are we doing here? What the fuck are we doing here? You know what I mean? It's like, man, people are out here on their second house.
You know what we're doing?
Their third marriage and their fourth kid, and I'm out here filming a freaking podcast and making music at 28. Goddamn, you know what I mean? Like,
come on. One thing I got to realize is that I learned that this year.
The what? Oh, okay.
One thing I learned this year
is
not to be hard on myself. You know,
for
because
for sure. Oh man, that's the worst.
Progress comes from the mind. If you know you are working closely towards achieving your goals, you're making the progress. It doesn't need to be that big, but baby steps. That's what I say. You know, because I remember last year we spoke about it, and this is it. This is the dream. We just started.
This is it. Literally, it doesn't get better than this. If I can do this, and I was just telling my friends the other day, life is basically just a bunch of conversations.
That's what it is.
What else do people do? We conversate. You know what I mean? Like everywhere you go, if you're at work, if you're at the gym, it's just conversation. And it's like, why not sit down, film it, and maybe potentially turn it into something that can either make you a living or either can do just like these guys do, right? Like Tony Robbins, E.T.
Turn it into money, yeah.
You know, turn it into money, but also just like, why not? You know, if I can inspire somebody or. You know, and yeah, a lot of people kind of said that. Like you just said, you know, if I can be an inspiration, that's fucking dope. What else can I do? Yeah. I feel like that's about it, right? Inspiring people. Like,
inspiring people.
What else is there to do? Yeah.
And you know, there's something interesting about what you mentioned. You said prior before the pandemic that you were into music, you know, making some music, and I would say that's one of the best things you have done, you know, because a lot of people will live this life without sharing something about themselves. The fact that you've passed the message through music is one big thing. And the fact that you are here with me today and you want to do this, and there's something that stood out about you is the fact that, you know, we were doing a job within like, but our minds were alive, you know. We had these goals, we had these inspirations of what we want to do. We still kept on telling ourselves, this is what we want to do.
We're in this shitty job right now. But we had that vision.
This is what
we kept keep that vision alive. Keep it alive. You got to keep that vision alive.
Keep it alive.
Like I said, this is like 10 months in the making. More. Like I've been wanting to do a podcast for years. You know, ever since like I don't know, Joe Rogan's been doing it for years. Like who, you know, it's just one of those things I've always wanted to do. And making music. And that's the other thing. Like I kind of determined. You know, people are always like, "What's the meaning of life? What's the meaning?" You know, blah blah blah. And I've kind of decided recently that. The meaning of life is to create in every sense.
That's what it is.
And at the end of the day, that's all people do. We create new life, right? We eat and basically procreate. You know what I mean? So it's like we can create life, we can create art. You know, as you can see, we can create a book, we can create music, we can create a podcast.
Yeah.
Just create. That's what I'm trying to just do, and also just like, why not? You know, have you heard that talk "Start with Why" by Simon Sinek?
You know, I love that book because you know
he says start with why. I say start with why the fuck not.
Come on, you know me on that. That's so good. Because you know what? The first time I read the book by Simon,
I haven't even read the book, but I've seen like his speech on the speech.
Yeah,
you know.
You know, he's been to different places talking about why, you know, starting with why. But I think you crushed it right there by saying, you know, starting with why. What again?
Why not?
Why not?
Why the fuck not?
You know, because many times I think right now I know why we are saying this. I know why we are having this podcast. Because this podcast is for anyone who wants to wake the fuck up. If you just want to try something, you've had the idea, get up and do it. Likewise, it's a message to me, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever dreams, whatever aspiration that I have ever conceived, it is possible. You just need to start.
And like you were saying, you know, you're your own worst enemy.
I know.
And
I tell myself
you really
that
get in your head a lot. Everybody does. And I did, obviously, for 10 years. For close to a decade, I wanted to do YouTube, podcasts and music, and it was just always like being more worried about what society would think and what my parents would think and stuff. And at this point, I'm just like, basically fuck everybody's opinion. Like how it's just so ridiculous that I wasted so much time worrying about
what
people
say.
And even still, like, I'm recording this right now, like, this is scary in a sense, right?
You
like,
don't even know what people is gonna make out of it.
But it's just like thinking about people thinking about you, like having an opinion about what you're doing. It's just like it's like a synapse firing in somebody's brain is a thought. I'm worried about somebody's synapses firing a certain way.
And who cares about that?
It's not even a real thing.
It's not real.
And like another thing I've been thinking a lot about recently, my grandma passed away a year ago. And like watching her, slowly decline in health, over the last couple months and being on her deathbed, like one day we're all going to be on our deathbed, and all of the things that we're worrying about right now are going to be so far from our minds. We're not even going to think about all the times that we got angry or all the things that gave us anxiety or people's opinions, So it's just, that's something I try to think about. And, what am I going to regret not doing?
I think I have the right answer to that. What we're going to regret not doing is what we didn't do.
Yeah, so that's why I'm doing this.
Of course, because I don't know, some people say I'll leave right in the fire, because when I dream of something, I just want to explore them, and I have just how the thought of coming to Canada came to my mind. I just woke up one day, I said, I'm fed up. I just need to see what's out there. Started researching. I saw Canada. Never been here. I don't have a family here. I just said, you know what? I'm moving.
Just why the fuck not?
That's it.
And has it been a better life since you've been out here?
I would say, I could say I'm progressive. I'm being progressive because I started the masters last year. I'm done with my masters, and right now I'm looking for what next. And what next for me is that I'm looking at, remember I told you I'm working on building a platform, that connects people to job. I'm still on that,
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
The next big thing for me is, validating the assumptions I'm making and be able to sell this within the Canadian workplace and help, a platform that helps balance work and life, because a lot of people are stuck in their odd jobs that they can't even choose their availability day, and in terms of when they want, or they tend to choose what is available there, so
it's kind of, from what I remember, it's kind of like an app that helps people like either recruit or like find specific people for work,
for positions. I could liken it to Uber for jobs, Uber for other jobs, because if freelancers can get jobs at their free time, why not for people who are looking for part-time opportunities? You could just dive right into
like specific things that are more like purpose-driven, I guess, hope in a sense, maybe.
Well, starting up, I'm trying to go with jobs that people can find within their neighborhood. Then, if we're expanding, we can move into finding other talents, people, how you can make money out of your talents, for every employer within your neighborhood. So right now, the dream for us is to start up with the basic thing. What do employers want and what do job seekers want? Because I think what the two sides want is value. You want value for the work you put in, and employers want value for the money they pay. So that's what I just want to drive through with the platform. Give value to both ends. So.
And speaking about value, that's kind of, hopefully that's what I'm doing here and we're doing here in a sense, because like I was saying earlier, how like if I could somehow turn this into a source of income, like everybody's providing value at a job, whether you don't think about it or not. Like if you're showing up somewhere, like you're of value to your boss in a sense, and that's why you're getting compensated.
Exactly.
So that's kind of, I got to keep that in mind when I'm doing this. It's like, it's got to be somewhat entertaining. It's got to be somewhat valuable, because if it's not valuable, then there's not going to be like a back and forth of, reciprocating time and energy, and hopefully, buddy, I don't know, I'm trying to make some cash off this shit, let's be honest.
Of course. But let's talk about that, because, there's been on this notion about, when the drive becomes money, the passion is there. I remember, when we talked about this, starting up this podcast. The key thing that keep running through my mind is that we're gonna use this podcast to pour out, talk to people, let them know that you are where you are right now, but it's not the infinite. You're still moving forward. As long as
Tony Robbins always says,
exactly,
your past does not equal your future.
It doesn't in any way. So, I would say, I would like people to organically look at what we're doing and be able to, say, I want to think like this, guys. Anything is possible. Step on it.
But you know what? I didn't, until I read all these books right here, I didn't think like that either, right? Like, and that's what I love about these books, and hopefully I can like take what I learned from stuff that I read from like Anthony Robbins and like Think and Grow Rich and all these other ones, and just pass it along. And actually, what my main goal is is to be a reminder, because I believe that people have most of the answers that they're looking for inside of them. And they just forget, because we're so constantly bombarded by everything happening, news, social media. Every time you wake up and check your phone, it's 1,000 people doing this, and that.
I know.
And it's so hard to just like sit and really think about. But I feel like if you do just sit with yourself and like maybe meditate or something, just like like you probably can find the answers within, and that's what some of these books have helped me do. So hopefully that's what I can do: pass on information and remind people who the fuck they are, And like, yo, dog, we only got one fucking shot.
You gotta take it.
And y'all are acting like you're coming back.
Of course,
you know what I mean? Like people, everybody's living their life like they're gonna live twice. You know what I mean?
Just one
including
life.
me, and everything I say also is a reminder to myself. Because I got to constantly remind myself of all these things too. And, like who am I guess, in a sense, to preach. So that's what I don't want to like preach and like try to teach people things. I just want to pass on cool ideas and just, remind people of the stuff that they already
know about.
Yeah, so. Hopefully, I would
say we're just gonna be putting out some daily reminder, telling you
that's
man,
it.
It doesn't matter the number of rejection you get. Just look up, man. Keep going there. If you're training for something, you gotta train it very well and come back again and keep it going. Eventually you're gonna become the best in whatever you're doing. I think it's just a state of mind. We're just here to be that state of mind for you to just keep striving.
Yeah, that's what this shirt is. This is my merch, Try Until. I made this a year ago, and honestly though, now I kind of have like a different idea.
You might just call it Try Until, man.
Try Until.
Let's name the podcast.
It's like
let's
the
name
Lighthouse.
it. Try Until.
Try Until, but you can get this shirt at tryuntilclothing.com. I got a Shopify store making these.
Beautiful.
But over the last year, I also realized, like, this idea is, like, be relentless, right? Like, if you're trying to do something, you try until you get the result you want.
Exactly.
But now but also, there's kind of a problem in that because people attach their happiness to a result and a goal. And recently, like, I did a Mind Valley course. You know what Mind Valley is?
Yeah.
Vishen Lakhiani, that guy?
Exactly.
And he talks about, like, you got to be happy now. It starts with happiness now. You can't keep putting your happiness, like, when I get here, I'll be happy. When I'll be here, I'll feel this way. So I feel like this is kind of like a double-edged sword in a sense, like, because if you're saying, like, try until, like, and you're not happy in the process, so I still believe try, but also you got to kind of be detached from the outcome. And the thing I say now is the journey is the reward.
Man, you hit me right there. I've had this conversation a lot of times with someone very special to me.
The process is the reward. The journey is the destination.
I have had this a million times with. I might be exaggerating, but I've had this conversation telling my significant person that, you know what, we just can't keep saying we're gonna be happy when we get here. Let's be happy now. Let's define what makes you happy. You know,
Speak
just
to
live
him.
life. You know, live
Speak
life.
to him.
Oh yeah, live life, because we kind of feel like we're not there yet. We're gonna be happy when we get here. And what if that moment never comes? You know, what if that moment never comes?
I think that's a huge thing with the whole mental health conversation that's happening. Why so many people have anxiety and depression.
Mm-hmm.
They're struggling to find happiness and joy now. You know, always saying when this happens, when this happens, when this happens. And one day you realize, you know, like it was all about the journey. And these are the good old days.
I know.
The days we're living right now, one day you will look back and say, damn, I miss those times. And right now you're fucking hating on them. Like you were saying, we're shitting on ourselves constantly. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta enjoy it, man. You gotta enjoy the process. And obviously, like I said, this is nothing new. This is just a reminder. And this is a reminder to myself as well.
I know.
The journey is the reward. The fact that we're able to just be and just conversate and just whatever, reading a book, it don't get better than that. Doing this, chilling, it don't get better than that. Going up in the studio and making a song, it doesn't get better than that. The result of the song, obviously it'd be nice to pop off, you know, be going to world tour, maybe that'll happen. But the actual process of creating, you know, maybe what if it don't get better than that? What if, you know? And that's what I'm cool with. I'm cool with this being it. I'm cool with this being it.
Honestly,
I'm cool right here, right now. You know what I mean? Like, why can't this be it?
Talking about this, it kind of like opens my mind, you know, because I've always had this mindset that happiness is when you get to a destination, you know, because I might have to just live my life like, you know, come on, who cares? I don't care if I get the likes. I don't care if I get this certain level of thing, but, you know, as long as my mind is active, you know, and I know that I'm making black progress, it doesn't matter.
It's the deception of the American dream.
Yeah.
It's pushed on us ever since we were a kid, right? Go to school, get a good job, get married, get a house. And there's obviously nothing wrong with that. And, like, you know, I do want to eventually have a family.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of wish I had a family already. I kind of get jealous of people my age, actually, that have, like, 5-year-olds. Like,
but hold on. I think we also said something like that. Because I remember I was telling you that I always had this dream that I want to have a child before 30. Mm-hmm. That's why I feel like I should have a girlfriend.
You know why? Because why the fuck not? Like, if I could have 10 kids...
Why is this not happening?
Like, why not? If I could afford to have 10 kids...
Why not?
Why not? Like, it's just, like, more life. Like, more everything. If I could financially... And I don't even know, whatever, even if it's not financially, but, like... but yeah, like, the whole American dream, like, we're pushed this idea, and then if we don't achieve those things by a certain age... And it comes back to that thing about people's opinions and stuff. Like, you got people asking you, it's about to be Christmas. There's going to be so many conversations in a week or two about, hey, so you got a boyfriend yet? You got a girlfriend yet? You get married yet? You know what I mean? But that's something that people, you know, families put a lot of pressure on you and stuff in that sense. And yeah, so it's tough to disconnect from that. And just be like, yo, this is my path, and everybody has their own path. And even for me, like, I, you know, compare myself to friends and family and people that I see online or people that I meet, you know, whatever. And it's just like, you know, you're always comparing yourself to others. And yeah, it's tough to just focus on yourself. Just do your thing and just, you know, focus on, I guess. But also, I don't really believe in the concept of happiness.
Tell me about that.
I think the closest that you can get to happiness is content.
I think that's the right word.
And also, like, this, I think, like, people wanting to be happy all the time is the reason that they're depressed, because they're not, like, on ecstasy or feeling like they expect to feel like on ecstasy all the time, right? Like. Yeah. Because they think that happiness is one thing and they're not there. Like, it's just an idea, right? Yeah. And since they never reach that in life, they're more depressed, I guess, and anxious. And it's like, I feel like, I'm not sure, I've seen something recently, but yeah, it's like happiness, I think it's like someone was saying, is just like peace. Just being at peace and being content
with what you
with life, what you got, and what you're doing. Yeah, I think it's kind of a trap.
I think you said some key words there, the word content and the word peace, because in our world today we are so.
And by the way, before you go into that, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I'm just talking mad shit right now. I'm just speaking thoughts that I have in my head.
No, it makes a lot of sense, because we were talking about content and happiness. Some people, because they feel like happiness is a destination, is a certain place. When you get to that place, you become happy. They don't take into cognizance. They don't look into what they have. And before they know it, they might lose what they have. Because they're not content in what they have, and they're not at peace with what they have. But when you get to that upper echelon and realize that this is not happiness, that's when you're gonna seek for the real thing, which is content and peace. Because when you have peace and content, happiness comes.
What else can you ask for? And but yeah, I think it's just a society thing that just these constructs are pushed on us ever since we're a kid.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't really know. I think the reason I think this way is because of the books I've read and podcasts I've watched. But another thing that I kind of live my life by, this saying, is that to live is to suffer.
Yeah, I've heard that before. And I think there was a line in Game of Thrones that said that.
Was it? I haven't seen the whole thing.
I think that's Ayastak. I've heard that within the movie too. So.
But I was just talking to my cousin about this last night because I asked him is there any quotes or sayings that you live your life by?
Mm-hmm.
And then he said kind of basically, you are what you wear. When you dress good, you feel good, and you perform good. And that's kind of one of the things that he lives by. And then I was saying, mine is I say it so often, to live is to suffer. When we were going through that shitty job, you got to remind yourself that
some days I get flashback. my life in a nutshell. Last year,
my back
crazy.
every day coming home,
It's
I was
crazy.
oh my god, my back is destroyed right now.
But I think the main point here is do what you gotta do, man. But don't lose track of the fact that you have a higher calling, because everyone has a higher calling.
Yeah.
I feel. Les Brown always say something that if you go to the graveyard, you see a lot of, dead gifts and all that never popped. So
that's what I was to the deathbed thing, and that's his thing about the deathbed.
Yeah.
When you're on your deathbed and all your ideas and dreams are standing around you, and they say we came to you to bring us to life, and you let us die. That shit gives me chills every time. That shit's so crazy, man.
Sometimes I'm there's a lot of things I want to accomplish, but I know I might not be able to do all. But if I could have some way that I pour out my mind like this, and that's why I feel like the idea of a podcast is good. If I could share my ideas to the world, let them know that there's no right or wrong way to live in this life. You might be right, I might be wrong.
Speak to him, yeah.
Come on, man, because some people just feel like there's a particular guideline towards getting to a goal. Sometimes there are some guidelines for you, but doesn't mean it doesn't work the other way.
And that's a big thing about getting out of your hometown. It's just realizing that you can do what you want.
Staying adaptive.
You can do what you want. Sometimes you got to get out to make it happen.
Yeah.
But to touch on the happiness thing and the to live is to suffer idea. If you expect there to be bad days, then when they happen, you'll be more equipped to handle it.
I know, it's just keeping a mindset that I'm planning for the best, but also planning for the worst, right?
Plan for the best, prepare for the worst. I'm pretty sure Lil Wayne said that at some point.
It just feels like you read my mind. Over the week, I had a disagreement because having a talk like this, man, you can always plan for good. Sometimes, make a plan B, A plan B, some people don't believe in plan B because they say plan B makes you lazy, but I also believe make that plan B regardless, But also plan. Keep your best plan forward, but also keep your plan B closer,
For
that
sure.
way you can
I'm kind of on the other side. What do I say about plan B? I say, One of my friends says plan A is or plan B is plan A. What do I say? Oh, actually, okay, yeah. This is a crazy thing that I think about.
Yeah.
Often, not often, but sometimes. Do you remember career? Did you ever have like in high school like a career day where you had to bring somebody in and they talked about their career?
A lot of times.
Oh yeah. So I remember this girl brought in this photographer.
Oh yeah.
And he was saying, he's like, listen, like my best advice. This is the clip that's gonna go viral right here, okay? Because this shit. Listen, clip this shit. Clip this shit. He said my best advice, and he's like, your parents and your teacher are gonna hate this, and they're not gonna agree.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, if you have a plan B, that means you're planning to fail.
Come on.
And I remember like I wasn't really listening too seriously to what he was saying, but then he said that, and I looked over, and it was like. That's probably the hardest thing I ever heard in my life. Like that shit's about, you know what I mean? Like if you have an idea and like you let the idea like, oh, if this doesn't work out, I could always do this, then you're planning to fail in a sense. And like I agree, you know, I see where you're coming from and the other side of it. Like yeah, you kind of gotta have a plan B and whatever, prepare for the worst. But that idea, I feel like that mindset is like it's like either do or die, right? Like you'll probably, if you have that mindset, you probably get farther along than if you don't have that. Well, it's like the shoot for the stars or like shoot for the moon and you land amongst the stars. If you don't set that crazy big goal, like if you shoot for the moon, you'll land amongst the stars. If you shoot for the clouds or the sky, you'll land not as far as you would if you had that bigger goal. Yeah. So
I think I agree with that because you know most times I'm a big dreamer. I live in the dream. That's sometimes, you know. But at the same time, you know, I looking at, you know, if there is like you want to get to the star, you want to get to the moon, rather, you know, you can use a rocket or you could use any other means, right? Mm-hmm. So if there's any other means that takes me there, I might just make a plan for the two ways, you know.
Right.
Either I move to the rocket or I use maybe the Elon Musk. What's the name of his?
Elon Musk, like Blue Origin, or is
exactly? Is it the Amazon own?
SpaceX.
You know? Exactly, SpaceX. Yeah. So if either I use the normal rocket or I go with the SpaceX, because it's two ways that gets us there. I feel like that's what this is. Exactly.
If everybody like I had this conversation with my friends the other day. I was bringing this up in a sec. Do you want a Kleenex? Are you sniffing? Do you need something to blow your nose?
You'd
be good? Yeah. I was having this conversation, like, people need to stop acting like it's, and this is kind of fucked up, but it, like, people need to kind of, I don't know if this is true or not, but people say it's not about the money, but, like, shut the fuck up. It's about the fucking money. What the fuck are you talking about? What you working in a factory for 40 years? Something that destroys your soul and your mind if it ain't about the money. Like, and like you were saying, and if the goal is money and like the American dream or whatever, buying a house, there's different ways to get there, right?
True.
There's the job that you hate. There's the job that you don't mind. And there's some jobs that you probably, you know, are content with, right? Maybe even make you happy. And then there's like rocket ships, like podcasts, music, writing a book. Like, y'all ain't even gonna try? We're not even gonna try to take the rocket one time? You know what I mean? Like, we're not even gonna try the rocket.
I'm gonna try. That's what we're doing now.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do right now. Like, it's like, so that's, it's, and that, but yeah, it's kind of like, I guess people like are, I think scared people's opinion.
I think you got it right there because I've always had this talk because I'm always in the bottleneck of how do I make money off this idea. I think it still brings back to the actual what you say. If you're not doing it for the money, I don't know why you're doing it. You know, because
people go to school to get a good job. Why? To make good money.
To make good money.
People invest in real estate. Why? To make money. You invest in stocks. Why? To make money. You know what I mean? Like, why people write, I mean, yeah, like, obviously, and, like, people who write books, obviously, are providing value, and, like, that brings it back to, you have to provide value.
Well, yeah.
But, like, yeah, why not try the rocket ship approach? You know, at least once. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to try one time. Like, you know what I mean? And it goes back to that, why the fuck not reasoning for doing anything. why the fuck not? Why not give it a moonshot one time? You can't try just once. You know what I mean?
I think that's one of the reasons I like this Gary V.
Yeah,
You know,
I listen to him.
He doesn't care. He just does what he does. You know.
Yeah,
and look at where he is today.
Yeah, definitely. Like listening to him has definitely helped. Dealing with thinking about what people think and stuff.
I used to be a big fan of what people will think, but right now, sometimes I feel like people are not ready for what I'm about doing.
And you know what else? A lot of times, you doing something like this and making music, you think people are gonna judge you and be like, "Who's this guy think they are? Their shit's whack, whatever." But really, they're thinking, "Damn, I wish I had the balls to do that."
And that's something, you know.
I mean,
listen to a lot of musicians who say that people see them as gods, you know, because a lot of people deal with the problem of starting. So when you might be thinking that
because they don't want to be seen starting not
and losing,
good. Yeah.
And I think we've accustomed our mindset towards, you know, showing our wins and not the failures, right? And that's why I like how we
Instagram culture.
Exactly. That's why I like how we started this podcast. You know, saying
talking about a job that fucking destroyed not only our bodies but our souls.
We met in the shitty job, you know, guys. But it's all part of the grind, right? Mm-hmm. It's a grind. When you move to a new city, you know, take what comes to you, especially when you know that it depends on your level of savings. I didn't have a lot of savings coming in, so I felt like I need to tap into this.
I didn't have a freaking dollar to my name coming out. Yeah,
Keep moving.
I went into credit card debt to be up in this bitch.
I think the mindset of you know, started eventually. We're gonna sit at the table where we're not thinking about the money to do this and the money to do the next thing, because we know we got it covered. Our dreams and visions are paying the bills right now, so I think we're just tapping into that a little bit, unlocking it. Yeah. Soon enough, we'll be happy we started this.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's that's how the culture is these days. Yeah, like you show, you know, social media is a highlight reel, right? And what do people always do when they go on vacation? Post it. First things first. How come y'all post 1 week of the year?
So it's just 1 week to be happy.
You know, like every time we're doing something, so it's just like. But Gary Vee talks about that too. He talks a lot about like documenting the process, and instead of trying to like show off and stuff, you know what I mean? Just document. This is what this is. This is the first. Technically,
I think he got it right there, because you know a lot of times some of my biggest failures comes from when I didn't document the process. If you can open it up wide to show like this is how I got from point A to point B, you know, people want to see that. A lot of people want to experience the process too, so they want to learn from you and get there.
This podcast I was listening to the other day. Did you listen to that one with Joel Osteen?
Joel Osteen, man. You know, I think that blew my mind.
I love it. I honestly love it. I'm not super religious, but I fucking love that guy.
The start of it, you know, they said God doesn't choose he qualifies the choosing, right?
Because he chooses the qualified, or which one?
No, he doesn't choose the qualified, but he qualifies the choosing, right? Because Joel was saying that he was quite young at that age, that he felt like he didn't get it all. And his dad was like, Joel, I want you to do this. And he was like, no, I can't do it. And I think that is the little me. That is me, you know, because a lot of times, you know, people are like, Henry, I know you got this, go do it. And I'm like, no, I can do it. Because I might just be like, maybe I don't sound good. Maybe my voice is not good. Maybe my English is not that superb, but who cares?
Listen, we're filming this on our phones right now with some cheap ass ring lights from Walmart. Okay, but listen, we start, and one day we'll hopefully have some big ass cameras. But the other guy, Ed Milet, I'm not sure if it was on that podcast or the other one that I was watching with him on Impact Theory. He was saying, I kind of lost my train of thought now. What was he saying? Something about, what were we talking about before we brought up Joel Osteen?
I think we were talking about, you know, the phase of life of, you know, moving from talking about the process, documenting the process.
Okay, yeah. He said the most inspiring thing is watching somebody do something that they're scared of doing, not the person that's been doing it and that's good at it. You know what I mean? The most inspiring thing is watching the person take that first step. You know what I mean? And that's what this is. So it's like, yeah, hopefully this is inspiring in some sense. And so I'm sure, like, I know a lot of this stuff that we've been saying is people are gonna like a lot.
Should I tell you something?
Because I learned it and I liked it and I'm passing it on. And I know.
Should I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
One of my biggest secrets is that I don't like standing behind the cameras, and this is me today.
Yeah.
You know, because my classes.
This is kind of easier than doing vlogging and stuff. Like
it's
vlogging
not that
is a
easy.
different.
I find this for me. You know, I feel like I'm on the spotlight right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to talk from my mind. Speak as the topic comes in. Because I didn't have to prepare to come here.
Exactly, like you
said
before,
I didn't like.
What are we gonna talk about? I was like, we're just gonna dive. We're just gonna jump in. I don't know.
I kept on asking you that.
Let's just figure it out.
I didn't like the idea of coming on videos. I feel like people won't like my voice, especially when I was doing my masters. On different occasion, I prefer not to turn on my cameras. Just be behind the camera or not participate in terms of talking about some issues that I feel like I have strong opinion on this because I'm always holding back. I don't know, maybe they're not ready to listen to what I have to say. Mm-hmm. But how would you know?
Right.
You just gotta do it. You just gotta say it. Come on.
Jump in.
Like
Steve Harvey always says, you
exactly.
Gotta take that
so for me, when you told me you were ready with this, I said, "This is my break off, man. I'm coming up. I'm coming up."
Yeah.
Because I know
you're scared. Like Will Smith says, if you're scared,
do it scared.
Then do it scared. And that's what we're doing right now. So. Yeah, it's how long we've been going for? How long does it say on there? Either way, but no, like I said, it's been great so far. You just gotta dive in. Same with last night with my cousin. He's like, "What are we doing?" I was like, "I don't know, just do it. Let's just jump on and just do it." Like,
I think that there is
this getting over that first step. That's just look what we talked about. Like we talked about
a lot of things,
dope ass shit.
And I think maybe we might have a day to define to talk about failures. Because some people don't know how to deal with failures. I have had this hypothesis in my mind. You get rejected. You try. If you get rejected once, try like 10 times more. Or 100 times more if you can.
You gotta get comfortable with
exactly.
rejection. And obviously that's something that we both struggle with, and even though we're preaching it right now, it's something that we both need to remind ourselves of, and that's what we're doing. We're reminding ourselves at the same time, reminding everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So we're gonna have a day. We're gonna talk about failures. Tell me how you deal with failures. Tell me instances where this happened, and how did you bounce back from it? Because we've always had one way or the other, we must have had, areas we failed at. How are we improving that? And, what are the plans we have to better ourselves? Because I know a lot of people who are out there who is watching have been there in some occasion, and some people might still be in that situation. They feel like, okay, we're not ready, because I'm not enough, because if you can learn something from us, learn that, failure is just should be a kind of it should be a rebound for you. You fail, you come back, you go again.
And like I was saying about happiness, is failure even a thing? Does it even exist really, or is it just a mental construct that we make up? Oh, I did this happened. Tony Robbins says, what does he say? He says, "There's no such thing as failure. There's only results."
I know, but
right, like you take an action, and you get a result. That doesn't mean it's a success or a failure. It just is what it is. And that's part of the thing probably where people get caught shitting on themselves. They convince themselves that something was a failure when in reality it was just a result of an action. So I don't know. Maybe failure isn't even really a thing. You know what I mean? Maybe, I don't know.
I think I'm gonna touch on that a little bit. Because a lot of people, even myself,
You think there's a little bit of truth to that, though?
There is a lot of truth to that, because I remember days that I'm gonna wake up early in the morning with a rejection email saying, "Oh, Henry, sorry, we will find someone else who we think has better qualification for the role." And I'm just gonna say, man, why not send this email to me in the afternoon or in the evening? Because I wouldn't like to, start my day with bad news, There were moments like that, Some days it became like, this is a normal thing.
That's why you don't check your phone first thing in the morning, right?
I still do regardless, Some mornings are, okay, I got used to it.
Yeah.
Some days I'm like, oh yeah, there it comes again. Rejection. there it comes again, rejection email. And to date, it still happens.
Goes to what I was saying about to live is to suffer. If you can accept that,
exactly. So